going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing another episode of my 100 Films in 100 Days series. We're going to be watching a comedy that is released in the last 5 years that I feel like was a really big hit. I think a lot of people have seen it, and a lot of the people who I know who have seen it have said that it's one of the more original movies that has came out in a really long time. It's absolutely hilarious. It has a really great cast, and it's very campy, and those sounds like things that I personally would really enjoy in a movie. So I'm really excited about it. We're going to be watching the movie Bottoms, which for the most part, all I really know about it actually going into it is the cast and the fact that the two main characters are lesbians, and one's played by Ayo Edebiri, who's absolutely adorable. I will watch literally any interview with her, even if I don't plan on watching whatever movie or TV show she's promoting. And Rachel Sennott, who is somebody who I will go out of my way to watch movies that she's in because she's just a delight. So overall, I'm really excited about this. I'm going to go watch it on Netflix, and then I will come back and give you guys my honest opinion and review.
Dun, 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 dun. 100 films in 100 days. Dun, dun.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it totally real with you guys. Sometimes when I watch these movies, I have to kind of spread it out over a short portion of time because today I had to go to the gym at a very specific time. So I watched the first hour of this movie, and I was like, okay, it's just a generic comedy. There's some cool moments in it. There's some romance aspects that are relatively solid. It's just a middle-of-the-road comedy. I come back and watch that third act. Yeah, okay. This movie automatically, in my opinion, just because of how ridiculous and over the top that third act is, automatically puts it up there with movies like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. What the hell was that? Hey, that was kind of insane. Hey, that was really interesting. I really like that. Some things that I gotta point out here. I love to start off with the positives, so I'm just gonna kind of like list off a bunch of things that are absolutely phenomenal. Nick Galantines. I don't think I just pronounced his name right, but him being like this ditzy little like Kenergy character is absolutely phenomenal. Almost every single time he is on screen, he makes me laugh, and I absolutely love the scene where like his girlfriend goes to confront him, and she's like, "Did you sleep with so-and-so's mom?" And he's just like, "No, I didn't sleep with anybody's mom." And then, you know, he's talking about how he was a tutoring somebody, and he was like, you know, helping somebody out with some math program, and then the girl's just like, "Aren't you in 8th grade algebra?" And he's just like, "I don't know that because I don't know how to read." That's great. That's a fantastic bit. That's absolutely phenomenal. Another person who I absolutely want to give a shout out to, and I promise after this I'll start actually giving credit to all the women in this cast, but Marshawn Lynch is in this movie. Why did nobody tell me Marshawn Lynch was in this movie? Last year he was in a movie called Love Hurts, and that movie absolutely was terrible, but I gave it an extra 1 star on Letterboxd because the man, the myth, the Marshawn legend was in it. I love Marshawn Lynch. He's absolutely hilarious. His energy is absolutely phenomenal. And the fact that he's just doing this for the love of the game, because he definitely has enough football money and merch money and just different advertising money. Like, he does not need to be doing this to be getting a big paycheck. He's doing this because he just wants to be in fun, silly little movies. And I love it. He's absolutely phenomenal in this. The multiple scenes where he rambles on about his wife and how he's getting divorced is just fantastic. And I love it. I think that that's so incredibly fun. But now to talk about just how insane this premise is. Because, like I said, I knew nothing about this movie going into it. And if you were to tell me the pitch, I think that I instantly would be sat immediately. Because what do you mean the pitch for this movie is two socially awkward lesbians who are best friends and have really struggled to have conversations with their crushes over the past 11 years of their lives have finally decided that the optimal way to get their crushes to notice them is to start a fight club and, you know, have it as like a self-defense club and just start beating each other up and start beating up other women. And this is going to be like a cool way that they can kind of get a giant group of, you know, misfit women all together. And it's also somehow going to pull in these two really attractive cheerleaders, because that's how that works. And this whole movie is going to, you know, lead to them like having to learn how to fight, actually getting really good at fighting, getting really good at self-defense. And the movie's going to end with them murdering the rival high school team's entire football team on the football field. Hey, what kind of acid are you taking? Because that doesn't sound like a real movie, but it is. And it's insanely good. This is the kind of film where it only works if all of the actors and actresses have everything absolutely dialed up to 11, and they absolutely do all throughout this film. I absolutely love Ayo Edebiri in this movie. I think that she plays socially awkward incredibly well. There's a lot of moments where she's like, you know, trying to, you know, flirt or whatever, and she's really failing. I feel like the first sequence with her flirting is like insanely real. As somebody who is really socially awkward, anytime I try to like talk to somebody I find attractive, it comes out that poorly. It's that bad because she's like looking at the girl that she likes and she's just like, you're like super skinny. Like, did the doctor tell you to eat more because you're skinny? And I was like, hell yeah, representation. That's what I'm talking about. That's awesome. That was fantastic. Io DeBree, a delight in this film. Ruby Cruz, also an absolute delight in this film. I did not realize she was in this. And I absolutely love her. She's absolutely phenomenal. She's one of the funniest people ever. She is so good in this movie. Justice for her character. I'm blanking on her name right now. It's like, I was going to say Haven, but that's definitely not it. Hold up. Hazel, sorry for pausing that. It really was going to drive me insane if I had to go the entire rest of this video without remembering what her character's name was. But I thought that she was absolutely amazing in this. I think that she authentically feels like the most actual LGBTQ character in this. Like, I don't know, Rachel Sennott, every time she plays somebody who's into women, which I feel like is a couple of times now, it always kind of feels like over the top, and it kind of feels almost like what somebody who isn't a lesbian would write a lesbian character to be. And I could be completely wrong, obviously, because look at me. I'm not a lesbian. I know, that might be shocking to some people. It's shocking to my fucking TikTok algorithm. I'll be scrolling through, I'll get a video that says, hey, you dirty lesbian, I know you want to know these random, and then like, half of the videos on my TikTok feed, like I'll scroll and it's just like, I know you're a lesbian and that's why you should read these books. And then it's like, I'll scroll a couple more times and then it's like, here's the optimal recipe for lesbian lattes. And I'm like, can you stop that? I'm a dude. Anyways, that's a tangent. That was a really bad tangent. My bad. Hey, that's okay. Anyways, but that being said, really enjoy her character. I do like the fact that she is insanely painfully miserable and that they call her out on it. I do hate whenever we're watching some of these teen drama movies and there are things that take place in high school and there's one character that's just an absolute bitch, and by the end of the movie they all come together and they just like hug it out and everything's fine now, and they don't actually address the fact that like, hey, you're an asshole and you treat everybody around you like they're just like, you know, the dirt on the bottom of your shoe, and you need to stop treating people like that. So with the scene between Rachel Sennott and Io DeBree, where she kind of like calls her out on her shit, and she's just like, you are constantly dragging me along into your terrible fucking plans and you're an absolute bitch face. And I'm like, yeah, you tell her. I love it. I thought that was fun. I love a lot of the montages in here. I think that this movie in a lot of ways kind of feels like Pitch Perfect to me, and Pitch Perfect is a comfort movie to me, so I can imagine this becoming a comfort movie for me as well, because there's so many jokes in here and like small little bits, and like even like some of the background characters, like there's some sequences with the football players where if you're paying attention to what the football players are doing in the background, it's hilarious. Even though they're not the center focal of the scene at all, they're just there, they're doing hilarious shit. And I think that that's amazing. That's one of my favorite things about comedy, is whenever the world itself feels like a comedy as opposed to just like the characters in a regular movie feel like comedians randomly. It feels more authentic when like just the world that they're in is wacky and weird and there's so much hijinks happening all the time, and that's ridiculously fun. Like whenever we're getting into the third act and there's the scene where Io DeBree's character meets up with, I believe, her aunt, and her aunt is kind of, you know, talking to her about like, oh yeah, this high school rivalry, they always kill people. I was fully expecting that to be like a fake out thing, and it to be revealed that like, oh, that aunt is just absolutely crazy and insane, and they just made a giant fool of themselves in front of the entire school because that's a football game that everybody's been looking forward to. But when it actually got revealed that they were in fact trying to kill somebody, I thought that was a very interesting way to take the movie, and the way that they all kill everybody and everything just goes absolutely wild and crazy and bazonkers. I loved it. I actually thought that was very, very fun. So overall, I had a really good time with this movie. One of my only complaints, I feel like this movie starts off relatively slow and there's a lot of secondhand embarrassment very early on in the movie. But once you get past that, I think that literally, like I said, I watched the first like 45 minutes, maybe an hour before going to the gym. After the like halfway mark, which is around 45 minutes, this movie is just nothing but pure comedy. Some great romantic moments, some really cool like teens going and doing rebellious stuff, TPing a house, egging a house, accidentally exploding somebody's car. That's something they did. Hey, that's fun. But I love this movie. I think that's really great, and I love the way that they like really make like the football players the villains of this movie, but also they're men, so they're incompetent, as they should be. But yeah, overall, really, really enjoyed this movie. If I had to say if this movie is overrated, underrated, in the middle, I would say it's properly rated. I think a lot of people have said that this is one of the best comedies that's came out in the last 5 years, and I agree with that. I think that There's not really a lot of other comedies that I would put higher than this. In fact, I would really have to think long and hard about it. I think maybe the movie Snack Shack, but that one, maybe not necessarily the comedy aspect is what makes it that great. But I really, really enjoyed this movie, and I could see it being a movie that I rewatched a lot. So I really enjoyed it. And if I had to give this movie a grade, scale 1 to 100, I would give this movie a solid 97. I'm not even joking with you. This is one of the most perfect movies I've ever seen. It's fantastic. It knows exactly what it wants to be, and it does it 100% unapologetically. I thought that was fantastic. But yeah, that being said, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking it out. I love and appreciate you guys so much for watching, and if you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bow, bow, bow.